Hello and welcome to Sportitude. Winter sports almost is upon us, so it's about time we start looking at the football range on offer 2017. So what I've got in front of me right here is the Asics Lethal Testimonial IT4. Very premium boot from the Asics range, and this year they've thrown in a couple of extra colours. But that being said, colours aside, the shoe itself is amazing. I want to talk about the technical features today to give you some help and understanding on whether it's going to be the right boot for you. So firstly, if I just grab one of these little guys on my hand, what Asics have done in the last, you can almost say 10 to 12 years, has sort of set them apart from the other brands in the football category, in the sense that they've introduced a 10mm heel gradient. I shouldn't say they've introduced, they did it 10 years ago, but a 10mm heel gradient in their boots. So what that essentially does is lifts the heel of your foot up and gradually drops the midfoot support down to your forefoot. So what that will do is just take a little bit of stress off that lower Achilles and calf, and then when you're running and turning your legs over, it also takes stress off the back of your knee and hamstring, minimizing hamstring strains, calf soreness, and Achilles tightness. It's a fantastic little, you could say, feature that Asics have done with their football boots. Now, 99% of the boots in the Asics range have that feature. There's one boot in their range which I don't have to show you, but it's the DS Lite on a zero platform. So if you're looking at your Asics range and you think, fantastic idea, I need that, don't buy the DS Lite. So we're looking at this little guy here, the Lethal Testimonial. So I'll quickly show you all the colours. I think they're below the camera. So we've got this little guy here, which is new, black, very sleek lime bottom. Then you've got your crystal snow white number, little guy here with a black base. And then we've got this little beautiful number here, the orange sunburnt red. Fantastic little boot. They've had that for a couple of years now. It's been very popular for us. And then for your traditional football player that wants to look the part, look like he's born in the 1980s, well, that's your number right there, your black and white classic looking boot. Now, the testimonial, what it's got. So as I talked about, the 10mm heel gradient, it's got a so light base through the rear of the foot here, so just give that foot a little bit of softness underneath on those hard pitches, hard ovals. It's also got a full kangaroo leather upper, so when we're talking about the upper, it's a really important feature. So kangaroo leather allows the foot to almost customise the shape of the boot. So after a couple of wears, K-leather can give a little bit, adapts to whether you're a wider foot through the forefoot or you've got a slightly wider midfoot. It'll just allow your foot to sit a bit nicer inside the boot. Looking at the back of the boot here through the heel counter region, so Asics have just slightly dropped this external heel counter down the back base of the Achilles through here. Now, the reason they've done that is to just allow for a bit more customized fit. So if you've got an external heel counter that comes up or an internal heel counter that comes up a bit higher, it does feel like it's going to have a bit more support, but it doesn't have much play, much give. So by dropping this external heel counter around to the base of the Achilles through here, it'll just allow the back half of your foot or your ankle to sit a little bit nicer inside this boot. So it's a beautiful little feature too. And the kangaroo leather doesn't just stop through the forefoot, it goes right around the boot. So customizing and stretching and enabling is you can almost say 360 degrees around this whole boot. Now, quickly, look at the base. I want to show you about the sprig pattern through here. So you've got your traditional 4 sprigs at the back. Being an IT model, essentially stands for firm grounds. ST model stands for soft turf. So you wouldn't have this amount of sprig pattern underneath. 4 sprigs at the back. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 through the forefoot. 8's about standard with most boots. Some boots have more, but looking at that feature through there, that's about the amount of traction you would require on a firm ground. One little feature I do need to talk about just briefly before we say adios. You're looking at the boot through here, the sprigs are a fraction longer. So depending on what part of Australia you're from, will determine whether you need a longer sprig or not. So if you're from, argument's sake, a state or territory that the grounds are a bit firm, a bit harder underneath your foot for the majority of the football season, I would probably suggest this boot might be a bit too aggressive for you. But if you're in a state or territory where the grounds can be firm, some are a bit softer, and you don't want to wear a screw-in football boot or a soft turf footy boot, this guy is fantastic because the sprigs are long enough to give you some traction when it's a bit damp, but also short enough that it'll give your foot a little bit of respite on those firmer decks. Look guys, hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into the Lethal Testimonial IT4. Great boot. If you've been nervous about buying it the last couple of years or you want to give it a crack, it's certainly ready to go. Give it a shot.